But I think this was a lesson in finding one thing that you let yourself feel. And I let myself feel joy about DJ. And I hope he's alive for another, 95 years, right? And I hope he lives and the life he wants to live. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy and then live to see Donald Trump pardon those people.
Mind virus. We have a new clip. It's called The Mind Virus. Wasn't she... was she ever on Fox? Am I crazy? Was she ever in the concert? Was she?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
There's an example of prostitute. She'll just say the most outrageous thing to make her bosses happy.
I don't know about that. I actually think she truly feels that. I think she's that demented. That is so... she spends the first half of the clip talking about, I hope he lives a long, healthy life. He has brain cancer. And then says, but if he is going to be a police officer, and then goes into that rant.
Yeah, especially about, referring to, because a lot of officers suffer from, PTSD due to this job. It's a stressful position. I know someone who's lost her loved one to this, and it's still affecting her 20 years later. So for her to drop that suicide nonsense, to drop that as I hope he doesn't commit suicide, to even go down to what is wrong with your brain that is what you think about when you see a 13-year-old child who survived multiple brain cancer operations, who should not be alive today and is living despite all the opposition that said he would never make it this far, get celebrated, and you think, you know what, this is it's a great idea. Let's hope he never commits suicide because of being a police officer. It's mind-boggling.
So demented.
It's mind-boggling. And you know what? What's scary about this is that there is a segment, and these are probably the people that Vin fights with, because I fight with them as well, that actually really think the way Nicolle Wallace does. So there is a segment of the demented population out there that is so twisted because they're so married to their ideological beliefs that they cannot, for the life of them, see any good that comes out of somebody who they do not agree with and they do not like. They believe that half the country is evil and they hope for death. That is the Nicolle Wallace group of this country. It's a small group, but man, look at the spokesperson they have on display on MSNBC. I'm surprised she's still employed.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, that is so crazy. That goes beyond like Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, that is just a level of, like I said, brain demented thought that's hard to describe. I mean, to say all the first part, which is fine, and then tie it.
Right.
I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
That's how you know she's nuts, is that she could have just left it right there.
Yeah.
The first 15, 20 seconds, and people have been like, yeah, I agree, that's great. Great sentiment, and she'd have been applauded. But no. She's like, let me step on this rake 5 times in a row and see if I can get everybody's attention. Well, you got everybody's attention.
Just couldn't give him credit for having a nice human moment there. They just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. Couldn't leave it at the human... What did you say last night, the word? The humanity? I guess you said the humanity of it. Just couldn't leave it at the humanity of it in this poor child, who, by the way, was in the Oval Office today.
Yes.
Which was great.